Oh there, Prairie here. Well, we're at that point where we're going to attempt to get this here fuel tank put back up in there. I may have made this a little harder than what I needed to by putting this on already, but it's not really fastened in there, so it'll wiggle. And I think I can scooch it up there as I'm scooching this up there. I got a light that's going to blind me. I have all the nuts and so forth here on the poor man's car lift. Another light there. I've got the cuss jar ready because I think this is going to be quite the expedition. Let me see what would be the best place to put you folks. You're gonna need this. You need a good laugh. Let me see here. I'll put you right by this light so that all the heat from that's gonna burn. Okay, we've got vent hoses. We've got all the other so forth. And of course, since I painted the bottom there, I don't want to scratch up the paint. Although if I do, I'm just going to paint it again. Whatever. I'm going to try to manhandle this by myself without the jack for right now. We had problems with this here and then that leaf spring. So what I'm going to do is I was hoping I'd really be able to jam this thing up in there at an angle like that. Can you even see it? You paying attention over here? I don't know. What's that? All right, there, yeah, you'll be able to kind of see. If not, then nobody will ever see any of this. I'll just erase it. All right, here we go. I'm going to try to scooch this over here. Get that filler neck up in there first. Fuel tank is empty. Fuel neck is just about in place. Well, I knew that was kind of a risky deal to try to get that in there first. Fella really needs 3 hands of juniors at work. And I got this other wire in the way. Heaven forbid I bring you over here so you can see what I'm doing. That might have got me close enough. Pert near. Show you what I'm wrestling with here. All right, I am not sure where that video cut off, but it's up. The big battle was getting it around the muffler there, which it's sitting on right now. I ended up coming in, putting a ratchet strap around the muffler and pulling it this way so that I could get it in there. I don't even know what this looks like in here. Oh, fuel neck looks like it's somewhat correct. So, I hope those are still connected down there. Anyway, I'm going to get a couple of these bolts started there. Get it in the holes. Get a couple of them started. Actually, before that, I'm going to reach up there and connect the fuel lines and all that stuff. And I hope I can still get up to that. So, I'm going to do that. And I'll bring you back. All right, while I'm waiting for some parts, namely for the drive shaft down there, I need the plate that holds the U-joint and the drive shaft in. That's MIA right now, so I figured I'd show you how I clean this up, and I'll paint the frame down here just like I did in the other places. Basically, I use this here, Dicky, and then I'll just scuff it up. Get all the dirt, dust, rust, and get all that as smooth as I can, and then I'll paint it, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I get it painted. This shouldn't take too long, but I'm trying to track down. I thought about maybe getting some stock steel wheels to put back on this thing. It's kind of hard right now. Nobody really has them, I guess, because everybody likes these Jeeps, so they don't give them up. So I guess we'll just keep looking. I do have a set of custom wheels that I'm looking at, if I got enough egg money for it, and we'll see. But I'll need them sooner than later. Still in this video, I want to get this thing running, drive it over to a spigot I got where I can not power wash, but I'll wash out the engine and all that. Then we'll replace some hoses and stuff in the fuel pump and do better inspection. And yeah, so that's where we're at on this video. I'll get this cleaned up, bring you back. Well, there you have it. It's just a cheesy spray paint job, but it'll look a little bit better. Hopefully keep the rust off. That's all I'm looking for. Just proof that you can polish a turd. All right. I'm going to end up getting new lift kit on there, so I didn't do anything with the leaf springs and all that because that's going to go bye-bye. So, I don't know. We'll go on to the next thing here. Hopefully get some U-joints, stuff like that. Get that taken care of next. All right, folks, this is where we're at. Need to put some coolant in here because I didn't see any. Told the radiator might be relatively new. It might be. It appears all the hoses and stuff are connected. I got some coolant. I have some coolant purchased. So we're going to put some coolant in slowly because this stuff isn't cheap. And make sure that it'll hold it. Got about shy of 5 gallons of fuel in the new tank. Not new tank, but a cleaned out tank. And I reckon we'll have to prime it, bottle feed it a little bit. This coolant is for all vehicles. So whether you use green, yellow, red, whatever, purple. Ooh, we're almost to the top here. That's good news. She's making some funny noises at me. Alright, we'll let that make funny noises. In the meanwhile, I'll hook the battery up. Here's Mr. Adam. You hear Pete the barn cat in the background. And then the ground strap. Huh. Got the headlights on, huh? Stand by and turn them off of. He isn't even on. I got a light on in the dash. Is that for the high beams? Still got lights. Well, might have a wiring issue there. Headlights were on. They were physically on. The switch was off, but the high beam switch was on. So evidently, there, I just clicked the high beams on. I can't tell if they're on or not. There's the light switch. Ha! Well, use something else to chase. Not sure if you can hear that. She's slowly working her way down there. You give her just a little bit more. The plan this morning is to drive this thing under its own power down to a spigot. I'm going to clean the engine off. That's funny. You clean the engine off, spray it off, and then bring it back up here and go through the rest of the fuel system. I have the drive shaft, rear drive shaft, and U-joint that I need to address. I've got that with me so I can put some engine degreaser on that, clean that off. Let me throw this in here. So I think we're at the point where we can put a little fuel in her. Let's see if we can get it to run here. Let me turn the key on, see if I can get the fuel pump. looks good. It's going to fall off into the fan. Don't want that. Pick up our leads here. Another magic start button. It doesn't work. How's it work? Smells like just burnt oil on the Well, she must be starving for fuel, man. Must be starving for fuel. It is kind of weeping out of this fuel pump. I wonder if we could take this filter off and see if anything's coming up here. See if it's pumping before the filter. Oh, for Pete's sake. Good Lord. gracious. All right. There we go. It's leaking right down onto the exhaust manifold. Don't really want that. Smells like fresh oil. Let me get something to dribble at it. Diet Mountain Dew can, that ought to work. Put that right here. Good sakes. Yeah. Been quite a bit actually. So that filter must be goony goo goo. It wasn't quick enough on the old turn the old engine off, and it just kept pumping. There was this filter in that thing of parts that I've got. So I'm going to see if I can determine if it's a new filter. If it's a new filter, I'll put it on. But I'm not going to bore you folks with all my ding battery. Also, I'm doing that. Once I get the filter, determine that it is a good filter, turn you back on. All right. That noise in the background is my stepwife riding off on her motorcycle. You can hear it. Anywho, yes indeed. This came in the box, if you remember on the probably the clean out video. This is what was in there, and it is brand new. I did the scientific method of checking it by blowing through it, and that checks out. So I got this here out of the way. We'll get these off of here. Boy, this thing just needs fuel lines. These are pretty brittle, like my emotions. All right. See if I can do this transfer with the least amount of spillage away. Put that on the old dirty. Let's do this. No, this one's good. Now we can just make away on these. heaven forbid I grab a plier or something like that. Just use violence. There's that. 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 This works, then I will, like I said, I'll throw you in board here, and we'll run out back beyond the compound, western part of the compound, the western quadrant, if you will. Get this washed up. I do have some standing gasoline on this here intake, and that's no wonder. So we checked the fuel pump. Fuel pump is working. It's weeping a little bit down there. It's sad. Once we get it cleaned off, we'll do a more better inspection of it and kind of see where we're at. Ease this back into place. Like that for now. Here's the old... Yeah, okay. That was pretty slick, Daryl. Well, that might not have been the problem, but we've got a new fuel filter. There may be another, maybe another filter somewhere in the line the rest of the way. Let's see. Let's just give it a whirl. That fire hazard out of the way. Filled up that dadgum pop can. Idling. That's good news. I do that more. A little bit of leak underneath. Looks like the fuel pump might be leaking. Just a tick. burning off. At least I hope it is. Coolant is gurgling up and down. That's fantastic. Hopefully that will go into the overflow. Alright, I have no rear drive shaft, so we're going to put it four-wheel drive and use the front drive shaft. We'll be able to see if the transmission works, clutch works, so forth. Hopefully all that stuff will burn off. She is smoking. Let's see somehow if I get you set up inside the Jeep here, and we'll get on down the way. All right. Literally have you tied in there with speaker wire. Clutch needs adjustment. It's way down to the bottom. Brakes seem to work. Temperature is coming up. Oil pressure is good. Shows it's not charging again. Oh, there we go. No, there. Just one tap. Just one tap will get it charging. Let this engine cool off a little bit, and then we'll spray some degreaser on it, get her cleaned up, and I'll get you set up out there, and I'll show you degreasing this here engine, get her all cleaned up. Behind these trees. Knows they're in. Not sure what that light is. Good, good. Not showing any fuel. Temperature's coming up again. I'll let it run just a little bit. I'll take you out of here, sit you down on the ground, and we'll clean out the injectors hopefully, and the carburetor and so forth. Let me get you out of the sunlight. She's really rough. Seen that vice grip fella put this down the yap, as he calls it. All right, it has been a few days since I've worked on the old Jeep, and when I pulled it in here to the shop, after I washed up all this, it was running a little bit rough, and it was just a fight to keep the thing going or even get it running. So it's been a few days. I'm going to try and do a cold start and see if we can get it to run again and idle normally, or like it should, or decent, on its own, without fighting me like a teenager. I think what may have happened is water, when I sprayed it off, got in somewhere. Might have gotten the fuel, might have gotten in a vacuum hose. I know it has vacuum leaks. I took, when I did get it running, I had Mr. Brake Cleaner that I sprayed in certain areas, a little bit down here, over in this cluster farm here. There I had some pretty serious vacuum leakage. So I guess for right now, what I want to do is just see if it'll start. See if it's back to somewhat normal. And then we'll go from there. So without bottle feeding it, I'll maybe give it a couple of hi, how are yous. Do neutral. See what we got. Sounds like it's missing. Shaking like the dickens. And quit me. Cold-blooded. Still running rough. Maybe I'll pull a couple of plugs. At least it's idling. Started on its own without needing the bottle. Like a crybaby. Okay, When I closed the butterfly valve, it would just about die until I closed the butterfly valve. Until it got warmed up. That tells me that it's starving for fuel maybe, or that it does have a vacuum leak, so it's already getting enough oxygen. And when I closed this, but then when it warmed up, it was running okay here, maybe idling a tick high, and it was definitely missing. So at this point, I'm not going to monkey with the carburetor or any of that. I was going to empty the bowl and see if there was water in there, but we'll see. But we'll move on to ignition for now. And I'm going to get set up on the other side with the light and the camera. And we'll pull the plugs and take a look at them and see if we can find more clues. But it's definitely going to have some sort of vacuum business that I got to track down. And maybe some carburetor issues. All right, let's do some ignition stuff. All right. Got the first one started out. Now, if you remember back in the cleanup video, there were some spark plugs in the... Wow. Gracious. Where's my light? I think we might be changing the old spark laters. These are Champion RFN 14 LY. Champions. Man, those are dirty. I do have those auto lights. Auto light something AP 985. So I don't know if this is a hotter plug or what. It's a platinum. Sorry. $985. I don't know what all these numbers voodoo means. RFN 14LY. I don't know. I'm not sure about this gap though. That looks like an awfully large gap. Where are you? I'm going to Google the plug for this and the gap and see if this is even close to what it should be. If it is, we're going to put them in. If they're all like this one, that is, man alive. I wouldn't run that in my neighbor's lawnmower. But I'm going to do some Googleization and then bless me. See if this is the right thing. I did check the cap and rotor. They looked actually new. The wires, not so much. The wires aren't bad. They're not cracked or anything like that, but they're awful thin and kind of flimsy, and I think they've been around a while. So what old Camp Prairie's going to do is do the plugs, eventually get the wires, because the cap and rotor look new to me. New enough anyway. I mean, nothing was charred in there or looked like it was hardly even wore. So stand by one. I'm going to do some Googling. All right, here they are. That was the easiest set of spark plugs I've ever taken out in my entire life. And also the nastiest. Let's see where you can see these. If. Probably not at all, huh? Get a weird light. Well, they're all the same. Those are terrible. Jeepers creepers. Well, they're all equally as bad. The one closest to the firewall smelled a little bit like gasoline. It was a little wet. So, whatever. We'll see. All right, we'll start it up now. Revs up pretty high. I don't know if you can see it. The engine's shaking. It's still running rough. Well, now it's not doing that at all. I was spraying it up there by the vacuum hose harness up there before, and it would rev, just like when I sprayed it down the gullet. It's idling, but it's not happy. Listen to the exhaust. Well, might have smoothed out. Oops, sorry about that. I think it does need some carb work. It takes a little while for it to settle down after you rev it. It seems like it has some injection pump there. I don't know. And it's idling at about 1500 if the tachometer is correct. Fumes are killing me. That's down to about 8,000. Maybe 10. That idle screw was turned all the way in, bruh. That's terrible. I'm gonna let this sit for a while. Go out and breathe some good old H2O. Then we'll start it up again and see. I don't know, jeepers, it seems like it might have done something a little bit better. I'll bring it back here just a little bit. All right, we got it aired out here. I don't know what in tarnation I ever did with my carb cleaner. There's some linkage and stuff that I'd like to spray off and kind of clean that up, but I think I could find my dadgum carburation cleaner. I bought evidently bought every brake cleaner can they had, but Lord Almighty. All right, we're going to start up. I also think it was starting to heat up. You saw maybe you did some steam boiling up out of here. On the other side of this, looks a little moist. Still got coolant in the reservoir. There is like maybe a pinhole leak or something right there. We'll start it up and see if it'll go. I mean, at least it started on its own. Don't have to bottle feed it. Still idling, kind of like that. This can't be in the least bit interesting to any of you folks. So I'm going to see if I can get you out of here. Show you what am I doing. This is what I'm monkeying with over here. This here little plunger, when that gets pushed in, it dies. Watch right there. I'm not 100% sure what this does, but I'm just trying to make it run a little more gooder. This is the idle screw over here. Now it wants to idle low on me. Yeah, you can't even see that like dead gum flashlight. See if it's starting to overheat again too. Definitely not idling smooth. Not bad, I guess, no. A bit of a knock over there. All this linkage down here is just filled with tremendous buildup of silk muck. I'd like to kind of clean that out of there. I don't know, folks. I think we might just call it here. I'm going to check and see how long this video is going and see where I want to go from here. I need to get the U-joints in the rear drive shaft, and then I can kind of at least yard drive it, or maybe even get it out on the highway for just a tick and see how it runs there. And I think that's kind of where we need to go. So for right now, I'm going to end it right here, and we'll see where we're at.